Reading through the Bible in 1 year, October 25th, 2 Kings chapter 6, 1 Timothy chapter 3, Daniel 10, and Psalm 119, verses 1 through 24. The sons of the prophets said to Elisha, "Please notice that the place where we live under your supervision is too small for us. Please let us go to the Jordan where we can each get a log and can build for ourselves a place to live." "Go," he said. Then one said, "Please come with your servants." "I'll come," he answered. So he went with them, and when they came to the Jordan, they cut down trees. As one of them was cutting down a tree, the iron axe head fell into the water, and he cried out, "Oh, my master, it was borrowed." Then the man of God asked, "Where did it fall?" When he showed him the place, the man of God cut a piece of wood, threw it there, and made the iron float. Then he said, "Pick it up," and he reached out and took it. When the king of Aram was waging war against Israel, he conferred with his servants, "My camp will be at such and such a place." But the man of God sent word to the king of Israel, "Be careful passing by this place, for the Arameans are going down by there, or going down there." Consequently, the king of Israel sent word to the place that the man had told him about. Starting over. Consequently, the king of Israel sent word to the place the man of God had told him about. The man of God repeatedly warned the king so the king would be on his guard. The king of Aram was engaged because of this matter, and he called his servants and demanded of them, "Tell me, which one of us is for the king of Israel?" Basically, he's saying, who one of you is who of those of you are a spy? Well, one of his servants said, "No one, my lord the king. Elisha, the prophet in Israel, tells the king of Israel even the words you speak in your bedroom." So the king said, "Go and see where he is, so I can send men to capture him." When he was told Elisha is in Dothan, he sent horses. There we go. I want to make sure I don't lose notes. He sent horses, chariots, and a massive army there. They went by night and surrounded the city. When the servant of the man of God got up early and went out, he discovered an army with horses and chariots surrounding the city. So he asked Elisha, "Oh, my master, what are we to do?" Elisha said, "Don't be afraid, for those who are with us outnumber those who are with them." Then Elisha prayed, "Yahweh, please open his eyes and let him see." So the Lord opened his servant's eyes, and he saw that the mountain was covered with horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. When the Arameans came against him, Elisha prayed to the Lord, "Please strike this nation with blindness." So he struck them with blindness according to Elisha's word. Then Elisha said to them, This is not the way, and this is not the city. Follow me, and I will take you to the man you are looking for." And he led them to Samaria. When they entered Samaria, Elisha said, "Lord, open these men's eyes and let them see." So Yahweh opened their eyes, and they saw that they were in the middle of Samaria. When the king of Israel saw them, he said to Elisha, "Should I kill them? Should I kill them, my father?" Elisha replied, "No, don't kill them. Do you kill those you have captured with your sword or with your bow? Set food and water in front of them so they can eat and drink and go to their master." So he prepared a big feast for them. When they had eaten and drunk, he sent them on their way, and they went to their master. The Aramean raiders did not come again into Israel's land. I love that story so much. It's so good. Sometime later, when Ben-Hadad of Aram brought all his military units together and marched up and laid siege to Samaria, there was a severe famine in Samaria. There was a severe famine in Samaria, and they continued the siege against it until a donkey's head sold for 34 ounces of silver, and a cup of dove's dung sold for 2 ounces of silver. As the king of Israel was passing by on the wall, a woman cried out to him, "My lord, the king, help!" He answered, "If Yahweh doesn't help you, where can I get help for you? From the threshing floor, from the winepress?" Then the king answered her, "What's the matter?" She said, "This woman said to me, 'Give up your son and we will eat him today. Then we will eat my son tomorrow.' So we boiled my son and ate him. And I said to her the next day, 'Give up your son and we will eat him.' But she has hidden her son." When the king heard the woman's words, he tore his clothing. Then, as he was passing by on the wall, the people saw that there was sackcloth under his clothes next to his skin. He announced, "May God punish me, and do so severely, if the head of Elisha, son of Shaphat, remains on his shoulders today." Again, blaming the prophet for what's happening, as if the prophet is the one commanding what happens to God. Elisha was sitting in his house, and the elders were sitting with him. And the king sent a man ahead of him, but before the messenger got to him, Elisha said to the elders, "Do you see how this murderer has sent someone to remove my head? Look, when the messenger comes, shut the door to keep him out. Isn't the sound of his master's feet behind him?" While Elisha was still speaking with them, the messenger came down to him. Then he said, "This disaster is from Yahweh. Why should I wait for the Lord any longer?" Elisha replied, "Here," well, this kind of goes on for a while. All right, so tomorrow we'll kind of roll back up a little bit and go into the text some, and then we'll continue on through where it is. All right, let's move on now to 1 Timothy chapter 3. Is it really that short? No, it's not. Okay, yeah, we'll go over it tomorrow. So again, 1 Timothy chapter 3. Paul continues, "This saying is trustworthy. If anyone aspires to be an overseer, an elder, like we would see as a pastor, he desires a noble work. An overseer or elder, therefore, must be above reproach, the husband of one wife." Note, it doesn't say in his entire life, it just means that he should be faithful to his wife. "Self-controlled, sensible, respectable, hospitable, able to teach, not an excessive drinker," so he can have some alcohol, but he shouldn't drink to excess, "not a bully, but gentle, and not quarrelsome, and not greedy. He must manage his own household competently, and have his children under control with all dignity." If someone doesn't know how to manage his own household, how will he take care of God's church? "He must not be a new convert, or he might become conceited and incur the same condemnation as the devil. Furthermore, he must have a good reputation among outsiders, so that he does not fall into disgrace and the devil's trap. Deacons, likewise, should be worthy of respect, not hypocritical, not drinking a lot of wine, and not greedy for money, holding the mystery of the faith with a clear conscience. They must also be tested first. If they prove blameless, then they can serve as deacons. Wives, likewise, should be worthy of respect, not slanderers, self-controlled, faithful in everything. Deacons are to be the husband of one wife. Again, not basically he should just take care of his wife of his youth. If he gets divorced for one reason or another, that does not necessarily, from the text, preclude him from having any more. From being able to be used, especially if his wife died or something else. It's not saying that if you're a widower, that you could not get remarried, because if you get remarried, then this precludes you from working for God, or for working for the church or anything like that. This was a time when people were basically, polygamy was a pretty common thing in Roman colonies, as these people were largely Gentiles. It's likely that some people may have been polygamous as well. Putting it out there. Let's move on. So deacons are to be the husband of one wife, managing their children and their own households competently. For those who have served well as deacons acquire a good standing for themselves and great boldness in the faith that is in Christ Jesus. "I write these things to you, hoping to come to you soon. But if I should be delayed, I have written so that you will know how people ought to conduct themselves in God's household, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and foundation of the truth. And, most certainly, the mystery of godliness is great. He was manifested in the flesh, vindicated in the spirit, seen by the angels, or rather seen by angels, preached among the nations, believed on in the world, and taken up in glory. Bringing up the rest of the notes here for you. Again, these are fantastic. Strongly recommend reading through all of them. And there we go. Let's move on now to Daniel chapter 10. In the third year of Cyrus, or King Cyrus of Persia, a message was revealed to Daniel, who was named Belteshazzar. The message was true and was about a great conflict. He understood the message and had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning for 3 full weeks. I didn't eat any rich food, no meat or wine entered my mouth, and I didn't put any oil on my body until the 3 weeks were over. As an aside, people have taken the fact that Daniel ate only vegetables in the beginning of this book to show that vegetarianism is the way to go. Yet here in this chapter, further on in his life, he's mentioning the fact that he didn't eat any meat because he was choosing not to eat any, because he was humbling himself before God. He was fasting from meat, which says that that's something that he normally enjoys. When you fast, you take something that you personally really enjoy and you don't do it for a certain amount of time for reasons of holiness or to glorify God or to show God your steadfastness in some way or another. So what we see here is we see Daniel, who previously was known as the great vegan, right? But here he's talking about choosing not to eat meat to show his steadfastness of his not opinion, but of the struggle of his heart at that time before God. So God would take note and go, whoa, he's not eating meat. This is a guy who really likes his meat. All right. So he didn't do any of these things. Didn't eat any rich food, no meat, no wine entered his mouth, and he didn't put any oil on his body until 3 weeks were over. On the 24th day of the first month, I was standing on the bank of the great river, the Tigris. And I looked up, and there was a man dressed in linen, with a belt of gold from Uphaz around his waist. His body was like beryl, and his face like the brilliance of lightning. His eyes were like flaming torches. His arms and feet were like the gleam of polished bronze, and the sound of his words, like the sound of a multitude. Only I, Daniel, saw the vision. The men who were with me did not see it, but a great terror fell on them, and they ran and hid. I was left alone, looking at this great vision. No strength was left in me. My face grew deathly pale, and I was powerless. I heard the words that he said, and when I heard them, I fell into a deep sleep with my face to the ground. Suddenly, a hand touched me and set me shaking on my hands and knees. He said to me, Daniel, you are a man treasured by God. Understand the words that I'm saying to you. Stand on your feet, for I have now been sent to you. After he said this to me, I stood, trembling. Don't be afraid, Daniel, he said to me, for from the first day that you purposed to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your prayers were heard. I have come because of your prayers. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia opposed me for 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, after I had been left there with the kings of Persia. Now, I have come to give you understanding, to help you understand what will happen to your people in the last days. For this vision refers to those days. While he was saying these words to me, I turned my face toward the ground and was speechless. Suddenly, one with human likeness touched my lips. I opened my mouth and said to the one standing in front of me, my Lord, because of the vision, anguish overwhelms me and I'm powerless. How can someone like me, your servant, speak with someone like you, my Lord? Now I have no strength and there is no breath in me. Then the one with a human appearance touched me again and strengthened me. He said, "Don't be afraid, you who are treasured by God. Peace to you. Be very strong." As he spoke to me, I was strengthened and said, let my Lord speak, for you have strengthened me. He said, "Do you know why I've come to you? I must return at once to fight against the prince of Persia. And when I leave you, the prince of Greece will come. However, I will tell you what is recorded in the book of truth. No one has the courage to support me against those princes except Michael, your prince. In the first year of Darius the Mede, I stood up to strengthen and protect him. Now, I will tell you the truth. Tomorrow, we're going to roll back a little bit, go into a little bit of this context again, and then continue on into the vision, or into the understanding or explanation of the prophecy as given. Now let's move on to Psalm 119. Now this is the longest chapter in the Bible. There are, I always get the number wrong. I'm going to guess 172, might be 180 verses. I'm probably totally wrong. I get it wrong every single time I think about it. Let's see if it shows it in here. It probably will. Down to 172. That's 176. Yeah, that one doesn't show it. There's a lot of verses in this chapter. The reason for that is because of the Hebrew alphabet. So this is broken into stanzas. This is if I remember correctly, it's a hymn of ascents. They are little stanzas, one for each of the letters of the alphabet. So we're going to read the letter of the Hebrew alphabet. We'll say that first, and then we'll go through it. If you're watching along or reading it with me, you'll be able to see the Hebrew letter next to it, so you can see that. Also, as we go, excuse me, as we go through this text, you'll see that there's 8 verses per stanza. So because there are so many letters as we go through this, we will be reading only 3 stanzas at a time, so 24 verses. There we go. That's the entire background story. Let's begin. Aleph. How happy are those whose way is blameless, who walk according to the Lord's instruction. Happy, the same word for happy is also blessed. Happy are those who keep his decrees and seek him with all their heart. They do nothing wrong. They walk in his ways. You have commanded that your precepts be diligently kept. If only my ways were committed to keeping your statutes, then I would not be ashamed when I think about all your commands. I will praise you with an upright heart when I learn about your righteous judgments. I will keep your statutes. Never abandon me. Beth. How can a young man keep his way pure? By keeping your word. I have sought you with all my heart. Don't let me wander from your commands. I have treasured your word in my heart so that I may not sin against you. Yahweh, may you be blessed. Teach me your statutes. With my lips I proclaim all the judgments from your mouth. I rejoice in the way you revealed I rejoice in the way revealed by your decrees as much as in all riches. I will meditate on your precepts and think about your ways. I will delight in your statutes. I will not forget your word. Gimel. Deal generously with your servant so that I might live. Then I will keep your word. Open my eyes so that I may contemplate wondrous things from your instruction. I am a resident alien or a sojourner on earth. Do not hide your commands from me. I am continually overcome with longing for your judgments. You rebuke the arrogant, the ones under a curse, who wander from your commands. Take insult and contempt away from me, for I have kept your decrees. Though princes sit together speaking against me, your servant will think about your statutes. Your decrees are my delight and my counselors. And that is all the reading and all the notes for today. So, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Behold, the word of the Lord.